Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. and today we have a Watch Mojo video and this is 10 times criminals accidentally confessed. We will get right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit subscribe button, comment, stick down below. Let's go.
We begin tonight with that famous millionaire under arrest in a cold case 30 years in the making after a major twist in the case playing out on national television.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 times criminals accidentally confessed.
Nancy had written something else. It was a blog post. The title? How to Murder Your Husband.
For this list, we'll be considering the most noteworthy instances where criminals mistakenly admitted to their crimes or accidentally gave prosecutors legal grounds that led to charges and convictions. What other accidental confessions have you heard? Let your tongue slip in the comments below. David Youngerman.
In Kansas City tonight, an arrest in the mysterious murder of personal injury.
I just love the thought that you could somehow, like, a criminal would unknowingly confess to a crime. I don't even know. You have to be either talked into it very well or be just damn right stupid. Problem is, I can never figure out which one it is.
Jury attorney Tom Pickert.
Kansas City, Missouri attorney Tom Pickert was fatally shot in front of his home on October 25, 2017. Pickert had recently helped his client win a $5.75 million civil settlement against millionaire businessman David Youngerman. While Youngerman's van was spotted by witnesses at the scene, he denied any involvement in Pickert's murder. However, when police searched his house, they found some incriminating evidence, including a digital audio tape containing what appeared to be a confession. Apparently unaware that he was being recorded, Youngerman allegedly admitted to being responsible for Pickert's death.
Saying in part, people know that I murdered that son of an expletive.
This recording helped
People know I murdered that son of a bitch. Yeah, there's a recording there that he just immediately confessed to the murder. How is it in his own house though? Like, how is the recording? Like, was it still always recorded? Or did someone somehow leave a recording device in there that was used and he never noticed? How would you be recording your own house without realizing it?
Prosecutors secure a conviction of first-degree murder and armed criminal action.
As to count one, we the jury find the defendant, David Youngerman, guilty of murder in the first degree.
William Corzine.
Police surrounded the home at the end of this lane off Barcroft Road in Lower Windsor Township this morning, taking into custody a 76-year-old man.
For nearly 40 years,
I don't know why, but the wording coverage you can count on just is not something that should always just remain up here. I know, like, it really matters, I know, but I just feel like it shouldn't be up there all the time. I'm speaking nonsense though, who cares?
Whereabouts of Gloria Corzine remained unknown. Gloria had been married to William Corzine since 1967 and suffered domestic violence for years. In 1981, she mysteriously disappeared.
She was just 37 at the time. Her body was never found, but she was formally declared dead in 1997.
Although her family believed that Corzine had a hand in Gloria's disappearance, there was simply no way of proving it. Until 2019, after police reopened the case, they reached out to Corzine, who immediately inquired if they had found her body. The only problem was that police didn't even know there was a body to find. By all indications, Gloria was still presumed missing.
Interesting! So they called him, the police called him because of the fact that they just reopened the case. They need to ask him some questions. They need to look right into it and ask him, you know, if there's anything you could remember or all that. And his first question was, did you find the body? Which would immediately mean there's a body to find. Immediately mean you eyes there a body to find? You would know that. You had to have taken a life then. That is very hilarious, because he just assumed they were calling to let him know, hey, we found your wife's body, or something like that. No, it still assumed she was just gone.
As a result, Corzine was charged with criminal homicide. He eventually pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 7.5 to 15 years in prison.
Unfortunately, as lives have been lost along the way, victims like Gloria helped pave the way for abusers to be punished properly and saved countless other lives.
Aaron Burrell.
It could be a C.
Why did you... Did he actually say that he did it? Did he... Like, did he confess any other time to it, or did he still plead innocent except for that call? Because if you're so certain he did it, and he, like, admits to doing it, get the fucking location of a body from him.
From a movie, criminals calling the cops on themselves by accident.
It's rather unusual for a 911 call to be made not by the victim of a crime, but by the perpetrator. That was the case for a burglary that occurred in New Mexico in September of 2014. One of the suspects in the case, Aaron Burrell, mistakenly butt-dialed 911 after making his getaway from the crime scene. For nearly...
Why did you have to put 911? Why couldn't you have just said 911? Why did you have to say he butt-dialed 911? That's not how you word that. That's not... No, it's 911. Don't say 911. That's just weird.
45 minutes, dispatcher.
Yes, we picked up this fucking TV set. Get a hold of it and we got it out of the house.
Just listened in as Burrell and his accomplice, Yvonne Thyberg, gloated about their alleged actions and how they successfully...
All the Henry Stein took out thing. All we gotta do is fucking get on the other side of McGaffey and we're fucking gone. And sure enough, we lost that motherfucker.
We hit on the other side of McGaffey and we're gone. Sure enough, we've lost that motherfucker.
It didn't take long for police to trace the call down to Burrell, who was arrested alongside Thyberg.
Could you imagine they're them and the police roll up to you because you butt down 911 and pretty much gloated and confessed to the police without realizing it? That is hilarious. Also, how do you butt down 911? Does he have on, like, that was the question I saw the game. How do he have on speed that? Because you know how hard that would be to accidentally do? I don't even...
On multiple criminal charges related to the burglary.
Officer was sent to the address that they mentioned to check on the house, found that it was indeed, had been burglarized.
A third suspect, Marvin Myers, was also arrested but later released. Guy Saleo. When 31-year-old chef Jim Webb was found dead at his restaurant, police suspected his business partner, Guy Saleo.
In the beginning of their business partnership, they got along well. However, the pressures of the financial responsibilities they had caused a lot of tension between the two of them.
They, however, discovered that Saleo seemingly had an alibi for the night of the murder. Webb had been shot in the back of his head, but the manner of his death was withheld from the public. So it made police all the more suspicious when Saleo, while consoling Webb's wife, asked her who would want to shoot Jim. Upon further investigation, Saleo's alibi quickly fell through, and authorities found out that he and Webb had both taken out $650,000 life insurance policies on each other.
Those policies...
As I was saying, I was about to say. I'm still gonna be. How do people? How are people able to take out life insurance policies without anyone on people without their consent? That should not be allowed. I'm going to always complain about this because it makes no fucking sense. It just makes no sense.
Policies had one purpose, which is that if one...
Like, that should not be legal. You should have to have the other person, the person whose life insurance, whose name is on life insurance, have to sign it in front of you to make sure it's done.
When the partner died, that the other one would be able to meet the debt load of the restaurant.
In 2001, Saleo was charged with Webb's murder and received a life sentence upon conviction.
When they read that verdict, it was the best thing I ever heard.
Ivan Milat.
The most
How did he what part of that was a confession? Wait, I'm confused. What part did I say that... What part was it that I missed that he accidentally confessed? Is because he took out a life insurance, I guess? Besides that, I must have missed the part.
Predator in Australian criminal history.
Regarded as one of the worst serial killers in Australia's history, Ivan Milat was responsible for the deaths of at least 7 people between 1989 and 1992. During his trial in 1996, Milat was said to have exuded an air of confidence unusual for a criminal with a mountain of damning evidence against him. That confidence seems to have contributed to his downfall. While being questioned about a glove used to commit the crimes, Milat first responded with, "I wore no," before realizing his mistake and stopping.
From my point of view, it was an admission, and quite frankly, the way he said it and expressed it aggressively, it was a accurate admission.
He then proceeded to deny ever seeing...
Wait, how does him saying "I wore no" mean confession? There is a missing part to that I don't understand, because I don't know how that's confession. I'm missing something there.
in the glove. Prosecutors took advantage of Malat's slip-up and were eventually able to convince the jury that he was, in fact, the backpacker murderer.
You're saying the happiest day of your life will be when your brother dies?
I think his demise would be greatly appreciated by me, yeah. For the damage he's done, not to me, to all those people out there.
Aryan Circle members. On July 1st, 2016, Clifton Hallmark, an Aryan Circle member, was shot and killed by one of his associates, Jeremy Jordan, at a pre-Independence Day party. Instead of reporting the crime, the group recruited Hallmark's wife and another woman to take his body to a local gas station and stage his death as the result of a robbery. But when the women called 911, they discussed the details of their intended cover-up, while dispatchers listened. In addition, surveillance...
You stupid fucks! What? Why would you call 911 to report the crime and then talk about your cover-up while you're still on the phone? How do you... that is such a level of stupidity, I couldn't even explain it to you.
Footage from the gas station showed that no robbery had taken place. That was all police needed to arrest Jordan on charges related to the murder. 7 other Circle members, including the 2 bumbling women, were charged with accessory after the fact. Merle Mackey. Reality shows often get a bad rep for their exploitative and sometimes unpleasant nature, but in this case, one reality show helped crack a decades-old murder case. Back in 1981, Evelyn Laverne Mackey vanished from the Florida home she shared with her daughter and her husband, Merle Mackey.
Hey, when is Mom coming home? Have you heard from her? And Merle asked me, what would you say if I told you your mom wasn't coming home?
The mystery behind her disappearance remained unsolved until 2015, when the reality show Cold Justice took investigators to interview Merle Mackey one more time. After being grilled for hours, Mackey initially claimed that Laverne's death was an accident. But when he began going into detail, he inadvertently revealed that the incident had been premeditated.
It's colossal. It's an explosion in my brain that he's talking. He's taking ownership to being there at the time of her death. Something he's never done.
Mackey eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree.
Boy made a slip-up at his old age. Because he then, after being interrogated for a while, just made a slip-up and said how I guess she fell in the dark and that. Because instead of denying that he has no idea, he then changed it to he was there when she died. And he just let her fall into the water and die. So now it makes him look... That pretty much has them admitting that he was at the place when she died.
Murder and received a 10-year prison sentence.
I believe that Merle Mackey killed Laverne just for the money in a bank account. He could care less about her being a person, a human being.
Anthony Garcia.
Thought that it would be a great idea to tattoo a crime scene on his chest.
While some fictional criminals get tattoos of prison blueprints to help them escape, some of their real-life counterparts, ink work, have landed them behind bars. In 2008, Anthony Garcia had his mugshot taken after he was arrested at a routine traffic stop. When police took a second look at the picture, they were struck by the distinctive tattoo across his chest. Turns out the elaborate design was actually a vivid recreation of a 2004 murder carried out by Garcia.
We looked at this gentleman's tattoo.
That is very interesting and insane to believe that that is actually a murder that took place, designed and pictured on his body.
And realized, oh my god, this is the crime scene from that liquor store slaying.
Several details from the crime scene were depicted in the tattoo, including the liquor store where it occurred and the direction the victim's body fell. An undercover policeman was able to extract a further confession from Garcia, which led to his eventual conviction. Nancy Crampton Brophy.
I think your case is held together with, real frankly, band-aids.
If you plan to get away with killing your husband, it might help to not publish an essay and title it How to Murder Your Husband. The murderous wife in this case is Nancy Crampton Brophy, a writer whose husband, Daniel Brophy, was shot and killed at his workplace.
Dan Brophy was dead at age 63.
Somebody just wanted to execute this person.
His wife's infamous essay had raised suspicions among the police, who arrested and charged her 3 months later. While in jail, Crampton Brophy allegedly let it slip to one of her cellmates that she was close by when the shooting happened, before quickly correcting her mistake. The cellmate in question took the stand during her trial and testified against her.
Because I said, wow, must have been close up, and she used her arm span and said, well, it was about this far.
In the end, Crampton Brophy was found guilty of second-degree murder and locked up for life. Before we continue...
She wrote an essay about how to murder her husband, which got her in jail. And then she spoke to one of her cellmates and said about how far she was away from when he died. And the cellmate threw her under the bus and helped convict her.
Continue. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Robert Durst. In January 2022, real estate heir Robert Durst died in prison after being convicted of the murder of his longtime friend, Susan Berman.
This is an interesting picture of you and Susan.
Yes, I'd like to get a copy of this.
Durst had gained international recognition after his involvement in the HBO miniseries The Jinx. The critically acclaimed documentary revolved around Durst and the 3 murders he was suspected of carrying out. During the final episode, Durst was presented with damning handwriting evidence implicating him in Berman's murder. In a shocking turn, he walked into the bathroom and muttered what seemed to be a confession.
Kill them all, of course.
Although it was later revealed that the clip was edited by the filmmakers, Durst was arrested and charged with the crime, in part due to the evidence presented in the series.
Durst under arrest and that.
Wait, so I'm surprised they are, because it is a TV show, right? So it could have been faked, the actual confession part. I'm gonna assume they had other evidence to back it, because I'm gonna hope that can't be used, because that's some weird shit.
Orange jumpsuit entering court, about to be extradited, charged with murder.
Did you enjoy this video?
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you thought of these in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.